welcome to another episode of SitWithAqsa. Of course, I over here have another silent giant with me. But before that, like we have done with all other sessions, of course, we are going to be talking about the current affairs. The unrest that's in Palestine is still going on, and I know that because of censorship, it has been appearing a lot less. But just be sure to share, just be sure to just like and engage in any way you can. And also not forget the other parts, for example, Congo and also Sudan, who are going through it. And those of you who have been to Pakistan and who have close ties with Pakistan knows that we have been through a very horrific incident at one of the very prestigious place, Gul Plaza, where there was a fire breakout. So just help any way you can, physical or through monetary, and that would really help. And now going back to the man of honor this time. How are you? First thing, I'm really sorry. I think that we had to change the session a lot of times. I think 2 to 3 times because my
I
friend's wedding.
yes,
Yeah, my friend's wedding was in
I
class,
think
and I was
twice.
like, yeah,
In fact, thrice if we count today as well.
yeah, exactly. It was
Yes,
like,
so thrice.
yeah. Yeah, my friend's wedding, and then I had to go back and forth. It was in Hyderabad to Karachi, Hyderabad. I was like,
Right,
I don't want to be not to be prepared for this one at least.
right.
So that's why I'm just glad we are finally here because
Finally, yes.
there's so many things. I was just reading, and there's so many things I will be able to relate to, and we can talk
Mhm.
about. So before I even go in, let me just give you a bit background or of who Dan Hassan is. As a core identity, he is a supply chain and operation professional with more than 10 years of cross-industry experience. His background spans software engineering, manufacturing, operations, inventory management, strategic planning. He is strong in amazing data-driven decision making using Power BI. He did his MBA from IBA Karachi and BE in IT from UET Taxila. As of now, he's working as a senior manager at Gul Ahmed Textile Mills, the focus area being inventory management from trims, MRO, and CAD related materials, which I know nothing about, but that's okay. Before that, he worked at Base International as a supply chain manager, managed 550 plus SKUs, accounting for 85% of sales, led warehouse operations serving 30 plus outlets nationwide. Right now, like reading about it seems like okay, 85%, oh, okay, 550 SKUs, but it must be havoc at arranging all of that, I would say, right?
Uh, yes, it's. I mean, when you talk about operational roles, yes, it's always a habit, right? And you move from one disaster to another while preempting another one.
Yeah,
So that's how it is. But if
yeah.
I were to talk about what I enjoy more, that is the strategic side of things.
Pretty
More on.
like that's nice. Yeah, yeah.
Having said that, yes, I'm always excited with operational roles as well, and the thrill that comes along to meet your targets
Yeah,
when you are able to, go beyond what is expected, deliver over and above what was expected.
yeah.
But I myself am prefer the strategic side of things.
I think you're someone who would never sit at a desk and just punch in numbers. You actually want to be like in the works, like doing everything, looking at everything, managing everything, right?
Yes, I mean, even in my current role, there are things, there are times, I mean, it's a combination of quite a few things. Like, I have to crunch data when it's needed. Then I have to talk to people about it, and that these are the problematic areas. And in the meanwhile, I also have to spend uh, sometimes a couple of hours thinking about how to preempt those problems in the future, especially
Yeah,
when you talk about when you talk about inventory, inventory has its own disaster, right?
Yeah.
It's a strategic tool. Having said that, it can, if I were to be very blunt about it, it can also be a cancer for the organization, right?
Mm.
So that way, we have to build controls. We have to be very proactive in
Yeah.
terms of how we're going to prevent the next disaster. So I have to often just time thinking about what is it that we can do better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that also takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah. And I think
And then,
when
of
it
course, in the corporate world, there's a lot of fields that we have to attend.
I know, right? I
And
think even
often,
when it comes to corporate lives, it's just like I think more
yes,
importantly, I think it's difficult to manage people if I'm not wrong.
yes, it
Huh?
is
Yeah.
because, and as you progress up you move up the ladder, uh, you have your team size increases. Everybody brings something unique to the table. So, understanding everybody's strengths,
Yeah.
understanding their weaknesses, that in itself is a real challenge. So, it's not at that level, it's not about, just doing things yourself, getting your hands dirty yourself. It's about getting people to understand what needs to be done. If,
Yeah.
as a manager, I can't communicate what is required, I'm not clear about the things, then whatever my team's going to deliver is
Yeah,
going to be a
exactly.
disaster,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
And I think even being a leader is just not about telling people what to do. It's also about
Exactly.
taking in feedback. It's also about asking, so what do you think you want to do? And also not abruptly or then blatantly just saying, okay, you are wrong. You have no idea about it, even though you
Exactly.
know what their idea is like, not good
Exactly.
at all. Right? So that balance.
Exactly. So, I mean,
And
it's about being open to
yeah.
ideas and, the cherry, and if you can put a cherry on top, that's amazing. That's the real deal. Secondly, you have to identify when you talk about what people bring to the table. It's about fitting them. It's like fitting the person, a piece of the person at the right place,
Yeah.
right? So that's another thing. And then think, uh, when you talk about it, you have to see what is basically uh, conflict management. So plus, you also have to see how uh, can you help people? What kind of environment are you giving? I mean,
Yeah.
I've had over the past couple of years, I've been very lucky to have some amazing bosses. To the extent that I would take advice from them before going for an interview. I would openly tell them that I'm going to
Yeah.
this place
Yeah.
and, I need your tips. So, giving them that kind of comfort that, and you're open to talk, to discuss anything with me, and I will only help you. So, it's as a
Yeah.
manager, if I'm able to mentor my team, give them good advice, help them
Yeah.
understand how to leverage their strengths.
Yeah.
I think that takes a game to a whole new level,
And
right?
I think
So
yeah, and also, I believe that in your 10 plus years of journey, you have had experience with different kind of people, right? And I think when it comes
yes,
to some of the people, they stay with the bad that happened to them, and they kind of replicate with the people they are now, kind of leading. But it's good to hear that even the way you were speaking, it's all about that the good you got from all your years, your tenure, your decades plus experience, which is I think amazing because people do need that kind of mentor that they can talk to, and managers who
yes,
take that role seriously does work on improving their team rather than just saying what they need to be done. And I'm just going to just,
Exactly. So
yeah,
I'll just add in here. So it's also about I mean during my career you mentioned it's 10 plus, so it's actually around 17 plus now.
damn.
So so in 18 years I've had my share of horrible bosses as well. But it's what I thought was what I realized from them is that this is not the kind of person I am,
Yeah.
and this is not the kind of person I would like to be.
Yeah. And it's hard to
So
stick to your real identity, I think. Yeah.
exactly. So when you talk good bosses, they teach you a lot, but the bad ones also teach you.
Exactly.
They you also have to open up your mind and see, okay, these are 10 good things that I can pick up from them.
Yeah.
But the horrible, the toxic side of them, that is something you can see, it's obvious, and you cannot really, you can decide that yes, this is not who I'm going to be. Sure,
Yeah.
it's part of the culture, but I need to manage my team. This
Yeah.
is not who I would like to be.
Exactly.
So, considering that it's always a learning curve, life is always a learning curve, whether it's your personal life, your professional life. You come across all, right? You are not just line managers.
Yeah.
It's also the kind of colleagues that you come across, right? So, another thing that I've experienced is people just outright lie to your face.
Yeah.
You know that they said something else before, but now it's like they're acting like
Like that kind of situation. You know, I know that you know.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. But with time, I've learned that I don't need to argue anywhere. I don't need to win every argument
Yeah.
just to save my own energy, just to preserve my own sanity.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
what I do is I just let them go on. Okay, fine. I know what you're saying, but I also know what you said earlier.
Yeah,
So
I know. I
it's
think
okay.
I think they know what's happening and they know that person know what's happening and they're just like, thank God they're not saying it outright. But I think that's good because just figuring that out what is needed and then taking out that ego perspective is very important. And I think as you move
Yes.
up the ladder, the ego gets so big for some people, so big. And it's like what you said, that you have your share of horrible bosses, you have your share of amazing bosses. But at the end of the day, it
Yes.
depends on you that who you are and what you take from each of them. So I think that's something, yeah, that's something amazing. I just want to just move backwards to one of your professional trajectory. That was the major growth phase for you, the Umbrella Steels one. You had like 6 plus years of experience over there. So you managed finished good warehouse and dispatch and ran out of 3 out of 4 company warehouses. How did you do? But that's okay. Let's just mention 75% of sales dispatch increased sales dispatch by 21% in first fiscal year, increased material handling efficiency by 13%. And then manager inventory management and 20,000 plus spare parts using minimum and maximum planning system. Yeah. Introduced bulk ordering of low value item to reduce procurement load and also worked on inventory management spare stores. You worked in spare stores as well. That's nice. Raw material
Yes.
plant spares and all of that. So and trust me, Vanessa, he has so much more. So I'm going to be linking the LinkedIn link below. So do check him out and do reach out. Like I think that even people who are coming into a supply chain industry would not only learn about supply chain from you, which I think that something you are at the core, but also like as a person of how to lead others. So just tell me about like how did even the shift happen? Like first you were as a software engineer, and then you moved on to being a supply chain, and supply chain became something that is like. comes with your name because that's your part of the identity. So how that came about?
So I'll walk back a couple of years for a couple of years. I started off in 2007 as a software engineer,
Yeah.
but and Alhamdulillah, I was very lucky to start off with a big name. But it's not something that excited me. I wasn't very interested in it. Having said that, I wanted to be a journalist when I was growing up, but we can't get everything in life. What we want.
Yeah.
So, a couple of years in the IT industry, then my MBA, 3 years. Then there's something I like to be very open about. I would say that I was a lost soul for the longest time. So I took a course supply chain during my MBA, and honestly, between marketing and finance, just one course actually
Mm.
amongst all electives and the courses, this is just
Yeah.
the one course that really appealed to me. I mean, in terms of profession, this is the kind of work I want. Having said that, it took me a couple of years to finally land in supply
Mm.
chain. That was at a very
Yeah.
so, and Alhamdulillah, this was a place where I learned a lot of things. Like to uh, work according to my own tips, do a lot of experiments. I had a kind of conducive environment from a
Yeah.
line manager to the top, the very top. And regarding achievements, I think you'll be surprised to see a motivated team do for you.
Really?
So that's the simple stuff. Yeah. So I think like we spoke about earlier about team management.
Yeah.
So once you connected your team, once they are aligned with you, what do you want to do, and they basically know what they need to do, and they have the autonomy, uh, then you don't have to worry about a lot of things, right? I'm not the sort of person who would like to do everybody's work. I want to do the least
Oh my
amount
God,
of work. I'll
that's
be
the
very honest
best.
with that.
That's the best kind of boss, I tell you, because a lot of times, even in my career, I was hired as someone who would have autonomy, who can do things, I have multiple ideas, and I was boxed into
Mhm.
that defined structure, and I was like, okay, what to do? Yeah,
I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but I'm at the risk of it. But it's just I want to keep the least amount of work in my own. I
yeah,
like to be the one taking decisions, be
yeah.
the one giving guidance, and creating the environment to, exchange ideas and see what's happening, what we can do better. That is what I like to do. Right. So this is how I connect to my interest in the strategic side of things.
Yeah, that's good. Also, like even when it comes to like I know that when it comes to that particular elective that basically ignited that hunger for supply chain mainly. But do you think that you have always been someone like that? Like for example, even if there is a process or something's happening, your mind just wire into ways that how this could be done efficiently or something like that. In retrospect, definitely.
So yes, I mean that's again, there are quite a few things that I've discovered accidentally. So yes, this is one
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
This is one of them. Yes.
Also, like even when I was going through LinkedIn, you mentioned this InDrive post, and even like you were conversing with him about all of that. That how do you manage pay and what is all of that? For you, it was all about okay, whatever I have learned about supply chain and efficiency, that man is still doing. So that was not really, it was more
Yes.
like implementing and seeing that in everyday life. And I think that's more of the
Yes.
practicality side of the things because people Like even in
Mhm.
university, like I would say that in IB as well, it's more related to theory work. But when you're able to just implement those practically, that even this everyday small situations make you see things differently, I think that's when you know, okay, I'm in the right space for sure.
Yes. So, but me, it can get really bad as well. So, with the intro, I think it was more of an operational thing that
Yeah,
he's managing his operation very well.
yeah, exactly.
So, when I talk about operation, I won't get very technical. I try not to get technical. But when you talk about a machine, its uptime is considered as efficiency.
Yeah.
Lesser the downtime, the higher the production means higher
Mm.
efficiency it has. So that is exactly what he was doing, right? So he wasn't keeping his car idle for a very long time, just instead of just waiting for a higher fare.
Yeah.
So that was something that really impressed me, and I was able to, like you said, connect with him. Secondly, with the area that I face now, being an inventory or a supply chain guest, that sometimes when I go for grocery shopping, I'm calculating the per unit cost of a certain product.
I think
So
your
my
mind is
tool
automatically doing that.
exactly, and mine is now wired towards that
Yeah.
because so what I do is, for example, if I'm buying, let's say, at times this happen. This is exactly why I don't do a lot of shopping because I let my wife handle that part because for me these things get a bit messy.
Does your wife
So
get bothered? Okay, not now, not now, please.
So I have given her a few ideas as to how I think, but
Yeah,
I've never really followed up with her on how
yeah,
much she's
that.
aligned with my thoughts because I know that sure I buy it that way now, but not enforce it on. So I'll just give you a very basic example as how my thought process changed when while buying things. I would look at the smallest strip and the biggest strip and see the per tablet cost. So
Damn.
if there are, let's say, 10 tablets in the small strip and let's say 15 in the bigger one. So I would look at the per tablet cost just for the first time.
Okay,
And then
does
I would
it
know
happen that you're actually calculating your wife has actually bought all the things and she's just heading towards the car and she's like, okay, you're still calculating. Let's go.
no. I've intentionally passed this on to my wife. She's
That's nice.
better at these things. But this is how I buy it now. And I try not to think like that. So, which is why I keep my shopping at a very minimal level. I let her handle these things. But yeah, initially I used to think a lot. And then I often wonder, oh, why do we have this medicine if we already have enough? Or
Yeah,
why have we brought two loaves of bread we already
yeah.
had one and don't need it? So
I think if you're
I
wired like
often
that, then everything becomes that work. Why is that? Why?
why
Yeah, why is the big
so
one.
so that's how I think of things now, and perhaps that's a dangerous thing as well, because and I often think about it that my what pays me to run my house is uh, getting better numbers, but I also struggle with getting the better numbers at home. So I try not to get into these things.
Yeah, I have actually, just so you mentioned dumbbells, I actually saw that the amazing transformation you went through when it comes to exercise. Like, we have to talk about that because for me, when
Mhm.
it comes to weight loss transformation, for me, it came about because I wanted to work on my mental health. And I do
Mhm.
think that even being overweight and then working towards somewhere where you feel like better in yourself, it's less related to like physical work, but more related to like mental clarity that comes with it. And I think a lot
Exactly.
of people will be able to relate to that when we move into that.
Mhm.
So, just wanted to ask that even when it comes to supply chain, if I talk to you about a simple day-to-day work, like what's the process day to day look like For example, if you're explaining it to someone who has just graduated and want to explore supply chain as a possible career path.
So I'll try to make this very simple as to what is supply chain, right?
Yeah,
Uh, so, for example, a company, an organization decides, okay, this is a they have, let's say, a certain product like I have to go back to what I do. So let's say they are selling, let's say, towels, right? One of the things that a company makes and exports and sells there. So we need to achieve a certain target, right? We
yeah,
need to sell X number of units and achieve profitability at Y level, right? So for X number of units, there is a whole level of planning that goes along with it, right? So for selling X number of units, you need a certain level. I mean, you can backtrack it at every level. You need to have, let's say, X minus 5 units at a certain store, X minus 4 units at another store. So that is one level, right? That's in a way you can say that becomes your distribution, right? So how and where will we sell it, right?
yeah,
So there's a bit of sales. This is basically what supply chain does. It connects and hits every department of the company, practically every department, right? So now we've handled the distribution part. Then before that comes the production part, right? We also need to produce it.
yeah,
If
exactly.
we're not producing it, then how exactly going to keep the product
Yeah,
at the shop?
exactly.
How exactly are we going to bring it to the shop or sell
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah,
So in between, you also have to figure out how to maintain stocks at a level where you have enough to feed the shops where there's a higher demand and enough to not, just keep it in your warehouse.
yeah,
That's the balancing act, right? So that's
yeah, yeah,
matching the supply and demand side, right? So before production comes in the planning part, comes in
yeah,
the planning, you see the raw material, gathering the raw material. So that's essentially procure.
yeah,
So from planning what to and actually having it delivered and
yeah,
delivering it to the customer at
exactly.
at the best possible cost, that is
Yeah.
essentially supply chain, right?
Okay, okay,
I
okay.
mean, I've tried to keep it a very macro level.
Yeah,
So, and I mean, if I were to talk about the career prospects, supply chain is really changing, uh, not just in Pakistan, but across the globe.
yeah,
And I'll take this point by point. How is it changing across the world? Very simple. We've seen what COVID did, right?
yeah,
The commerce, international trade got stuck. Uh, Countries were on shutdown, on and off. So the supply lines got choked back badly, right? Industrial output came down, and there were shortages on the shelves, right? So that is one thing, right? So getting the products on time, that was a major challenge, right? So even if you have the capacity, but you cannot get your people into the factory,
yeah,
that is right. So that's one thing. Then during the past couple of years, we've also seen international geostrategic challenges as well, like uh, the canals, I cannot exactly recall at the moment, but trade lines getting choked,
yeah,
getting
yeah,
blocked,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then the the political rivalries amongst countries, civil wars in different nations, pirate attacking ships, quite a few things, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Also,
So,
yeah,
secondly, so that's another challenge now. Tariffs are another challenge because and what happens is that the US is probably the largest importer of goods across the world, and what they've done is that they've increased the tariffs. So you have to manage your the tariff means essentially
yeah,
the tax
yeah,
that you have to pay for bringing in your goods to the country.
exactly. Yeah,
So for that, your cost of production has to be at a level where it's still possible to sell over there, right?
yeah,
Not just the US, but also across the EU, across different countries, right? So that is one of the challenges, right? Then we've had a lot of concepts change post-COVID, right? So uh, offshore manufacturing or manufacturing in a different part of the world.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
that is also changing. The concept is I mean, and I was treating cheap labor, right? So China has always, for the longest time, has been the world's largest factory of goods, I would say.
Yeah,
Has so, and now with the geopolitical situation, countries are trying to take out production or they
yeah.
reduce their reliance on China.
I think it's
And
getting much harder and harder, right, when it comes to supply chain. Also,
yes,
I feel like because
yes,
of onset of e-commerce as well, and I think even
yes,
with the onset of especially e-commerce, the
mhm,
generation even of the product, the same product has become like quite more, like it has increased. So I think it must
mhm,
have put a lot of pressure on even the employees itself, like even delivering, making
yes,
sure, because you have to think so much on your feet every day.
yes. So I connect this with another thing, which is penetration of AI into supply chain.
Yeah,
So across the world, there has been a lot of insecurity of sorts regarding how jobs will be lost. Sure, machines are going to make people redundant. AI is going to make people redundant. That is for sure, right? I have no doubts in my mind about that. But now there's a certain level of skill that is right. If you can't leverage AI, if you can't use it to, improve efficiency in your
yeah,
operations, simplify non-value added activities, then you're only going to lose out. So it's a tool, it's an enabler which has to be used, right? Which has to be leveraged. So while there is an insecurity, this is also an opportunity to
yeah,
upskill yourself and learn. Because, I'll give you an example. For picking items in a warehouse, it's sufficient for you to have two people in Pakistan, perhaps India or China as well, but it's not cost efficient in Europe, right?
yeah,
So that is where robots come into play.
yeah.
So there are different dynamics across the world,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, it's always about matching supply and demand,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. In the
So
most
that has to
efficient
be
way
done.
possible. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So that is how, and now if I would like to come back to Pakistan, uh, now companies are more and more realizing the impact an efficient supply chain can bring to their profitability,
ah, okay.
right? So, and this is a transformation that's happening, right? Uh, I've been seeing a lot of digital transformation happening, not just at the company level, but also at vendors level as well. So I'm talking about vendors who have functioned with just perhaps regular register noting down things and them integrating with companies which, let's say, have a requirement maybe a bit to their portal, to a third-party application or
Yeah,
anything, right?
yeah,
So these are the people who have always been used to booking trucks, or service or products or orders on just a telephone call. So this is the transformation that's actually
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So and the progressive ones, even the ones who are not very digital, but they understand that yes, there are things that we can do better, are actually the ones who are early adopters,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
the impact isn't real, isn't very big at the moment, but it's slowly and surely catching on,
Yeah, exactly.
right? So, and
That
this is
one
something
second.
yeah,
Can I just say? Sorry, sorry. The
sure,
thing
sure,
is
sure.
that the meeting is going to end. So I'm going to send you
Okay,
another link. I would
sure,
hate
sure, sure.
that to cut you in between. I would hate that. That video
Not
goes
at all,
off.
not at
I'm
all,
just going to send you
not at all.
another because I have questions.
Okay.
Yes, for sure. Okay. Okay, so the thing is that while you were talking about it, one thing that struck me is
Mhm.
that you mentioned that in Pakistan, people are slowly catching up to it. So, do you think
Mhm.
people in Pakistan are very rigid when it comes to change, especially with the onset of
Yes.
AI? Yeah,
So, I wouldn't really generalize it with Pakistan. Um, Over the past couple of years, I've interacted with quite a few people on LinkedIn from different countries, right? Europe, Canada, the US, a lot of countries, right? And one thing common that a few things that I really found overlapping were number one, uh, they're facing pretty much the same challenge. So one thing that really made me happy is that it's not like Pakistan being a third world country or having its own
yeah,
challenges
yeah, yeah,
is behind really in terms of supply
yeah,
chain. Sure, there are companies making a lot of effort to modernize themselves, and what we're practicing is pretty much in line with what is happening across the world, right? So yes, we still have a long way to go, but we're headed in the right direction in terms of
that's
what
good.
we're doing,
Yeah,
right? Secondly, the aspect of resistance to change, that is also something that has been discussed in the that I've discussed in these meetings, right? So I'll just circle back to my earlier point that people are insecure about AI, right? It's
yeah,
there,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
perception is that AI will take over their jobs.
yeah.
So I can
And
give you
instead
an
of
example.
accepting it, they get scared about it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I can give you an example of how I've started using ChatGPT more during the past couple of months. Uh, there's a lot of work where I have to, work on data or many, crunch data. That's a better way of saying it. And there are times when the data is so complex or so messed up
Yeah.
that just cleaning it is going to drain me,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of things that I learn in the middle. So what I learned is that ChatGPT will do the same thing for me.
Yeah, and it will do it like
Right?
1 to 2 minutes and going backward. And
Exactly.
I would
And
do the same. Yeah, I was just because I over here live on rent, like, and there was this one time we had to calculate how much we owe each other, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot do all the basic calculation. So I just plugged in ChatGPT. But one thing, do you also think that it's kind of inhibiting the creativity as well? Especially for the new generation.
so there's another thing that I would like to add here before answering your question. There's the other thing is that you need to be very careful of what you are asking it to do, right? So your prompt has
Yeah,
to be very accurate. You need to know your data.
yeah,
You need to know the problem statement very well, right?
yeah,
Otherwise, it's just going to throw away something else,
yeah,
something that will, get you shot in the head, right? So, and I can give you an example that I was working on something weeks back, and I gave the data to ChatGPT and asked it to find a solution to just save my own time. The output that it gave me, I thought that it doesn't really make sense to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it was just a gut feeling based on
Yeah.
the data that I've worked on before, uh, the knowledge that I have of the data set. So what I did was that I manually reconciled it, and then I was able to figure out that yes, I was correct.
Exactly.
So then I
Exactly.
told ChatGPT,
Yeah.
you're saying you gave this value, even though this is the correct answer. So then it counted me that okay, when you talk about when considering that this was your prompt, this was my answer. But and this is how I computed the answer. But when you look at it the other way, the answer you were looking for, and then you have
Yeah.
to look at it, or you have to ask me accordingly, right? So that's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So when you talk about it, and I was also in a similar dilemma that is it going to inhibit my creativity, my thought
Yeah.
process? I think it has. It needs to be used very wisely, very carefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
the
agree.
first thing is that if you are to use it, then you need to first understand what are you trying to get out of it, and what basically will help in getting that output, getting those
Yeah.
results, getting that analysis.
Yeah.
There's another thing that you need to have a certain level of skill of the other tools. So, for example, if you're using Excel to, crunch your data, then you need to know the basics. You need to
Yeah.
understand. So, for example, if I didn't know how to reconcile that data, I wouldn't have, let alone my gut. If I hadn't known how to reconcile that data, then I would have been in hot waters, right?
Yeah.
Trouble, the kind of trouble that I cannot explain. So
Exactly, exactly, because you
that
will be
was
just like, "Yeah, okay, this is machine, whatever this is telling me, this is supposed to be right." And I particular
exactly.
ask you with new generation because I have had this situation where this person I
Mhm.
was working with sent me around 8 to 10 documents, each one
Mhm.
generated by ChatGPT, and after each one I
Okay.
had to explain him that this is
Mhm.
ChatGPT. You don't even know what you're writing, and you know you need to
Mhm.
stop doing that. And again, it was the same. I think for us, at least in
Mhm.
school and in when we studied, we actually studied without AI. So we do have some thing in our mind, okay, intellectually when we can think, but I think it has a lot inhibited all of that thinking for the new generation.
So, it's for me, it's an enabler, right?
Yeah,
So, and before I dove deep into it, I started using it more. I had conversations with a lot of people, and I had a similar concern that, it might kill my own creativity, my own thought process. But all of them, and these are people either associated with tech, with IT, with
yeah,
and very strong with data analysis and all. So everybody had different perspectives,
yeah,
but all of them were of the opinion that ChatGPT or any tool, let's just call
yeah,
it AI, let's generalize it. AI has to be used carefully. If you're using it individually, it has to be used carefully. You cannot just go about throwing reports, throwing data, throwing
yeah,
presentations.
yeah,
You have
exactly.
to know what you're doing.
Yeah,
And if you if you can come up with solutions, if you ask the right questions, if you know how to ask the right questions, then yes, it's going to increase your efficiency. It
for
will.
sure, for
It
sure.
can also
I
give
think it's
you
about the
new
person. Yeah,
ideas.
yeah. It's about the person too, because
So
I think even when
exactly.
you started using it, you first question
Mhm.
that how is it going to affect me? and then you looked up answers, and when you know, okay, if I use it strategically, I can get that answer. But I just think that when it comes to people slowly coming into this AI world, they are not that wide, like what they're sharing or not sharing. I just like, I think yesterday I saw this post on LinkedIn where this woman was saying that she was seeing a therapist 3 times a week, but now she
Mhm.
has switched to talking to AI, and it's like doing the work for free, and AI is
I think
every
I've
time
seen this.
available. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was like, woman, that scared me too. That what are you saying?
yeah. So, yes, that is correct. It has to. So that holds true for technology
Yeah,
in general, right? So it's not just, and over the, I would say, during the past perhaps 2 decades, technology in general
yeah,
has evolved so quickly, so rapidly, and its adoption has become so easy that we are generally more dependent on technology now. So, at the risk of sounding too old, I got my first phone back in 2004 or 5, right? So at that point in time, there was practically no concept of touchscreens or having a phone, having a camera in your phone. And anybody having a camera in their phone, I mean, there are very few options, which are very expensive, right? So anybody having that would be, it was a status symbol of sorts.
yeah,
But now it's pretty much a common thing.
yeah,
And in fact, you have a camera in your phone now,
yeah,
in your pocket now, all the time. So that is how things are changing. Your dependence on technology. So, for example, there are a lot of instances where you just don't need to open your laptop. You can do things on the go,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
So, technology is rapidly changing the way we operate,
yeah,
not just professionally, but also personally.
yeah, for
But
sure.
there's always there's the struggle that we have is to find a healthy balance between.
Yeah,
And if we don't do that, that's going to be pretty much of a challenge. So, like the post that you mentioned, I've also read it, and I had similar views that seriously, how can we replace a human over here?
yeah, you
And
cannot, and especially
you
with
know,
something so delicate. Like I have been
exactly.
into therapy, and I know that
Mhm,
there was a point that I was just talking about a friend relationship on
mhm,
ChatGPT, and then I had to step back after a few times that what am I doing? Why am I even asking
mhm,
it? They aren't capable of emotions, and even when like I basically I shared with you that I found my love for writing and
mhm,
all. Like, I, of course,
mhm,
asked ChatGPT to improvise it and all of that, but I would never ever want that whenever ChatGPT does its own thing, it's always so bizarre in a way that, okay, it just
mhm,
sounds like you, metal and robotic. I don't want that. I want it to sound like me
mhm.
and use my words. So I think that's also a main thing that people often forget that
Exactly,
human touch they need. Yeah.
exactly. Now, I mean, if we were to talk about ChatGPT or in fact, AI inhibiting your creative thinking, then yes, that is a major risk. If you do not know how to use the tool, or if you cannot figure out how you can improve your efficiency, the way you think,
Yeah.
or what value it can add to your work, then yes,
Yeah.
you are headed for a disaster. Your
Yeah.
critical
Yeah. Yeah.
thinking will go up. And I've read quite a few posts on this. Quite a few. I've been through quite a lot of content on the matter as well. And yes, this is a very, very true scenario. But if you are using it to complement your work, I don't see that as a problem. So
Exactly.
when
Yeah.
I was having these conversations that I mentioned, a friend, a friend of mine gave a very good example. So he said that, you know how to drive a car, right? So now it's time for you to drive a Ferrari. So the so the expectation of your output, the output that you give at work, what you bring to the table, that has drastically changed,
Yeah.
right? And for that, you need tools,
Yeah,
which is where
exactly.
which is
Yeah.
where AI comes
And
into play.
yeah, exactly. And it's all
So a
about
couple
like,
of
yeah, and I just wanted to add that it's all about like accepting changes in a way that it does not disrupt
Mhm.
your already set life. It's just enhancing it.
Exactly.
But if you're
Enhancing.
trying to
Yes.
replace human relations, if you're trying to
Yes.
replace that human emotions total part, then you're on a failure because then you're actually building
Mhm.
relationship based on what a robot is telling you,
Exactly.
and that's incapable of
Exactly.
even understanding those, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So
So I
after
had mentioned
AI,
to you.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
go.
like I had mentioned to you earlier that I have to often spend a couple of hours or spend some time thinking about what can we do better, what are the processes that we need to improve. So what I did a couple of days back was that I did a lot of brainstorming. I sat in my room just, with the lights off just to this was at work. So I sat with the lights off, just,
Disassociate with the life. Huh?
just
Yeah.
try to disconnect, and I kept thinking about what have I seen so far and what's the control that we can apply over here to preempt these problems. So I wrote down a couple of points, and then I asked the same question to ChatGPT. So and it pretty much gave me the same ideas. It added on, I think, another point perhaps, but overall, it gave me the clarity that yes, I was thinking along the right direction. Because, at the end of the day, what any of these tools is doing is that it's
Yeah.
picking up a lot of data from the world,
Yeah.
right? So it is compiling the best of whatever it has. That is what
Yeah.
it is showing you, right? But you have to use it wisely, very carefully, like we've been talking about. So that is a kind of, I mean, if you're doing this, if you're using it on
Hmm.
top of your work, then nothing like it. For me, nothing like it. I mean, just getting my life easier, not having to apply
Exactly.
complex formula or logic on Excel or
Exactly,
Power BI
exactly,
things.
because the
It's saving my time.
everyday mundane task for which you
Mhm.
need to have hire another person that will actually stop you from thinking about stuff. I think that's completely
Exactly.
okay, and
And
that's
the
actually
other thing, sorry,
needed for people.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll cut you here. I'll cut you here. The other
Okay,
thing that
that's
it does is the mundane things that task that does to your brain is that you have lesser energy for the actual work that you need to do,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you're saving the best of your energy, the best of your brain's efficiency for the actual work that needs to be done for the bigger
mhm,
picture,
yeah,
right? And not exerting yourself on just something less important to the, I mean, it's an input, but
yeah.
less important in the sense that you can save time on it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
And
that's the key.
again, like
The main
you shamelessly unplug the supply chain concept over here, efficiency.
thing. I can help you with that.
You can, you can. Okay, now we are going into like more of like a personal stuff so that we can actually
Yeah,
know that as a person, like the way you process specifically things. So first, I just
yeah.
want to talk about weight loss because I do think a lot of
Mhm.
people would be able to relate to this not only transformation, but what goes behind this transformation. So first of all, even looking at it, it was amazing transformation, but I just
Mhm.
want to understand that was like
Mhm.
when you were overweight, was that like always part of you? And there was this one time you are like, no, that's it, that's it, that's producing emotional chaos? Or was it like a time where it was so chaotic that you were indulged in food and stuff?
So from your question, I can see that. you've done a lot of research on my social media handles.
Of course. Oh my God, how can I not?
So it's not exactly something I was looking at, but yes, I've always been a foodie. I've always had a very sweet tooth,
Ooh,
so that's there. But it's not like, and I'll be honest, I need to shed a few kgs again because I've been a bit negligent over the past
same.
couple of months. But it's just I became regular in going for a morning walk at a nearby park, which really helped me, and just going there relaxed me a lot while listening to music and
Yeah,
eventually
yeah.
podcasts. It really helped me, and just uh, looking at the sunrise,
Yeah,
the fresh
yeah,
sky.
these
It
like,
was just a very good
yeah,
experience, and getting clarity of thought, thinking about
that's
things
something,
and what
yeah.
is it that I need to do. So, I mean, this it just became a part of my routine, right? So, and in the middle, I
So
started
you were
learning as well,
always
but
like, so you're always
yeah,
like a foodie. And, but
yes,
there comes up, but what was that point that you realized, okay, no, this is going off track, like, lol.
I never realized anything.
There, okay,
No,
but there
I
came a
never
pinnacle
realized.
point, right? There came a pinnacle
Yeah,
point.
yeah, it
Why
was
did
there.
you? Yeah.
It was there. It was there. But I just, when I got into the routine, it was just a consequence for me. Okay, I'll lose weight. But it's not like something that I was putting an effort into.
Okay, okay, okay. That was
So
just a switch that happened.
that's
Oh,
just a thing that I got into.
okay.
And eventually I realized that my clothes fit me better. And it's something that I'm enjoying doing. So yes, it helped me a lot. And it was an amazing journey which I need to get into again. But it's just that the lazy part of me has is prevailing over me these days.
Hmm.
So that's something I need to do better. But yeah, I mean, it was a great feeling to fit into clothes that have been in your cupboard for
A very long
a very
time.
long time.
It's such a heartbreak when I wear like a previous air clothes and it doesn't fit, and my mom is
Yeah.
looking at me saying, and she's like then stitching and fixing it, and I'm just like, I already know, I already feel bad, and that's like a cherry on top for you at least. But I just wanted to ask that, do you think that you being as a person, like you move from chaos, you look at chaos, but then you want to move towards something more structured that it makes sense. So, do you think even like weight loss transformation was more of like the kind of person you are? That's why there was never a pinnacle point for you. There, it was just like weight gaining was so chaotic for you being a person that just if automatically you move towards exercise and stuff like that and you were able to lose weight.
So my weight was never a problem for me.
Ah, okay.
It was never something that I was worried about. But yes, I mean, once you get into something for a couple of days, it becomes a part of who you are, right? A
Yeah.
part of, and your body gets tuned to it, right? So it's not like I mean, it was just a regular routine that I would go and walk for a couple of kilometers in the park in the morning. It's not like I tried a diet, but eventually, yes, my diet reduced. I became conscious of what I was putting into my system. But having said that, it's still the case. I still often overload myself.
See, it
So
was for
that's
like
it's
for me, it was like I started basically boxing. I started with boxing and then I went into
oh,
weightlifting and all of that, right? So
mhm,
for me, it was just about working on my mental health and being strong. And it
mhm,
was never about weight. But but
mhm,
what I understood, even it's just like on the surface level, Yes, you're able to fit in, yes, all of these things. But what most people don't realize is not about that figure that you are.
Yes,
It's not about all of that thing. It's just about how internally you feel good about yourself,
yes,
right?
yes,
And if
yes.
someone is not that self-grounded in themselves, I think that disassociation that happens, yeah, that can happen in both way, but I do think that
Mhm.
that transformation sometimes needed in order to push you out.
There's something else that's there. There are things that you need to do for yourself,
Yeah,
right? There are things that you need to do for yourself so that you feel good about yourself,
yeah.
right?
And you work
And
better. Yeah,
it's not, like you said, it's not about losing weight. It's about what gives you satisfaction,
yeah,
right? What makes you feel good. So what helps you in managing your stress better,
yeah,
right? Because when you are into a fitness routine or just doing anything, I mean, it's not like you have to run or hit the gym. Whatever makes you feel happy, right? Whatever gives you that kick. So that actually helps you in a number of ways, which
yeah,
you cannot uh, really put a num in ways that you cannot really put a number to. I mean, I would just cut myself a bit over here, but there's a lot of things that we don't realize that come
yeah.
along as perhaps byproducts or chain reactions. So this, I think, this is very important for everybody now, and given the
Yeah.
kind of lifestyles we have, given the kind of food that we eating and we love to eat. So that's, I think, much needed now. Uh,
Okay. One
yeah.
question. If you were given the opportunity that you can eat anything right now and it won't affect your weight at all, savory, sweet, anything, what are your top three dishes that you wouldn't even like have to think second time even about?
So, the barbecue,
Ah, barbecue,
barbecue,
but what? There's so many things. Malai
all,
kofti, everything. Okay, okay. Chicken, beef,
everything. So
anything.
I I just use a simple category here, right? I
Okay.
love barbecue, right? Then I love Chinese food. Anything works for me.
Anything? Okay.
And paratha. In fact, anda and just paratha and chai. I love that combination. So just
Okay. What
going.
about you being a sweet tooth? Like, I didn't see anything sweet over here.
So I've tried to cut. I'm
Yeah,
really trying to control my
but
sweetness.
this time the situation is
Mhm.
not having any effect on any part of your body, right? So what
Right.
sweet thing?
So that's cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Really? That's
Yeah,
nice. Cheesecake is
I
also good.
love cheesecake, and it's from what I know, very few people actually have the taste for it. But I mean, I love chocolates as well. Any chocolate in any form except dark chocolate. But if you talk about a
Because
specific
that's
dessert, then
healthy.
yes. But I love
I
sweets.
don't like it as well, and I'm
I
just
love,
like, I exactly.
but I love pretty much all Middle uh, you know, Pakistani things pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's there for me. Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's nice. That's good to know. Also, one more thing, like even moving away from it, that for example, even if like for example being an overweight and being like fit, that came so naturally for you. But for some people, even when it comes to overweight, there comes a lot of bullying. There comes up a lot of even not like a proper bully, but in some way even family members would taunt you, and then that becomes like a very objectifying thing also, but also very negativity that people often develop more sort of a resentment towards people. So did you go
Mhm.
through something like that? Because from what I'm gauging, even if you did, you weren't really affected by those things because it came naturally to you. I just want to know your experience and perspective on this.
So, you're right with the answer, but that actually came about after quite a few years. So, yes, I'll be honest, I've been resentful, but what I've learned is during the past couple of years that number one, I'm the one who can protect myself, right? So, if I know that somebody speaks in a certain way, then I need to accept that and I need to see how can I manage my time around it, right? There are things that I can expect from because it's their nature, right?
Okay,
But
yeah.
and then I have some very good friends who have a certain style of speaking, right? But I know for a fact, and it's very difficult for anybody to. So understanding them, their motive is another thing. But people who taunt you, yes, I have such people around me. But at times, there are situations where you want support from people,
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
where it's just good to have as many people around you as you can. And I think during my father's last few days, my the family gathered, and I had never really imagined what if what strength I could get from everybody who's around us.
Yeah,
Something I had never thought of or
yeah,
considered. Sure, it was. We all know that the, the time has to come, but how people can, just help you navigate through it
yeah,
and just support you unconditionally,
yeah,
be there, and just their presence helps you stay, uh, afloat, or just their presence can also, just help you with something.
yeah,
So I think it's more about, people, about accepting people for who they are
yeah,
and knowing that, yes, there is an element of, I won't say toxicity, but a certain part of their behavior or how they
yeah.
come across that you don't really enjoy,
Hmm.
or that not enjoy, but also
Ex- Except,
appreciate,
yeah,
accept. Yes. So, but then again, they are a part of your life, whether you like it or not. So,
yeah,
yes, you can just, I mean, there are things that you have to accept in you.
yeah,
So, just that's
yeah,
it's one of the
yeah.
things that you need to do. Yeah.
Exactly, and I think that's like a good advice not only for men, but especially when it comes to women as well, because even though you were gone through like those storms and even when weight or maybe all more of other things of just being the way you are, women are objectified almost for everything, like whatever they do, right? And like
Mhm.
even in my sense, in my life, that's what something I have found that in order to just see that distinction, that who you are, and sometimes just distancing someone else's perspective and who you are. Like that distance is very important because if you just hear the same words again, after some time what it happens that your voice becomes that voice and you think that it's your voice but it's actually not your voice, and that's why I really like the fact that when you mentioned that I would just sit in my room lights off and I just think about it, and it just makes me like I go on solo dates as well, right? To just process, journal, read something and everything because I know how important that is, even if people don't understand. And I really like that even if people would say, okay, being a man, why would you even need to go? Like, isn't your family enough in all of these things? And you like put those aside and you know that these things would help me serve my family better. So I'll do that. I don't care what you're saying.
I think over a period of time, the way our society thinks has also changed drastically. Sure, it's not about gender superiority or anything, but I believe that when I take it to another angle, even in a marriage, both husband and wife they balance out each other.
Yeah,
When you talk about the family, siblings balance out each other
yeah,
because two siblings aren't alike, but both of them are different in their own ways,
yeah,
right? So it's not just about, I mean, you hear about single women raising their kids all alone, fighting
yeah,
dogs,
yeah,
that's right, or women in abusive marriages, that's there, right? These are
yeah,
realities. So, uh, there are instances, and we need to, I think, yes, as a man, as the man of the house, I have to watch out for everybody. I take it upon myself.
yeah,
But there are instances where I need support from my wife, from
yeah,
my mother, from my sister. So that's there.
yeah,
I mean, one cannot really just sit around thinking that yes, I'm a man, so I have to take it upon myself. No,
yeah,
I mean, sure, if you can do that, then do it.
yeah,
That's your
exactly.
way of thinking.
Yeah.
If you're able to cope up with the challenge, then sure. But when you
I think
share your
it's less,
challenges,
yeah, it's less to cope up with the challenge. It's more of abiding by the sort of that definition that society have painted of what men is, and not
yes,
understanding what actually men means. Yes, it's about
yes,
being men, and yes, about it means that, but also the vulnerability that comes with it, and also the
yes.
support from your mother, from your wife, and sister. Like, I don't think a lot of men would just mention these things, but I think the way you have been even brought up and the way you are mentioning the women in your life, I think these are also important things because it changes the perspective of
Yes.
what society think men should be and who men really are when they stay core to their own house identity.
So I come from a family where most of the women are working, have worked, right?
Okay.
My mother was a teacher.
This is very important. Can I just do it on another link because this is going to stop? Will it be okay?
Yes, but we'll have to conclude in the next 15-20 minutes because I have to go as well.
Okay, yeah. First, just 30 minutes. That's it. This
Sure,
story
sure.
ends. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Okay. You were telling me about all in your family, all the women have been like working women.
Yes, pretty much everybody.
Really?
My wife is working, my sister is working, my grandmothers, both of them, they were teachers. So pretty much everybody, and pretty much all the women in my family are working or have worked. So that has also changed a lot of changed my thought process to quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not just quite a bit, but a lot.
A lot, yeah. And even like when I go back to even your that note about Islamabad that you shared with me, that was so raw. The first thing that struck me the most was that yes, it was like you were thinking about that place, but at the same time you also mentioned how important the relationship mother and your sister was in that, right? And that was really amazing for me because even when it comes to right now, I think about even my relationship, my brothers, we do have like same parents, but I don't, but when we see, we actually don't have same parents because the way we are brought up is so different because it's never
Mhm.
same thing, right? So it was really moving. So it was, do you think is it because that you are so in tune with your identity and with your emotions that has to do with you seeing how women has to go beyond in order to earn a living, even when they don't have to.
So I think it's times are changing now, right? So it's less about working women or less about supporting husbands. Perhaps even it's there, supporting husbands is also there. But now it's also important for the children to have
Yeah,
a working mother because it changes the way they operate, the way the way they think, and their level of independence, right? So there are times when my daughter, when she was perhaps 2, 3 years old, or I cannot recall exactly, but she would go to the daycare because both of us really find a time as she was off from school, and both of us could not gather the time to, manage her at home. So she would go to the daycare. And even my mother, she didn't have the time. She was working. She was working even after retirement. So my daughter knew that yes, this is how the system works. Both of them are at their own workplaces. My grandmother isn't even here. She's also at her workplace. So my daughter knew that. And it's it is surely difficult for, I would say more difficult for the mothers to detach themselves with the situation.
yeah,
It's also difficult for a father to know that he's not around. I mean, I recently moved to my organization, Gul Ahmed, and I missed my daughter's sports day, my son's sports day, because I knew and I figured that I should not, I should try to stay in the office as much as I can, avoid any extra leaves because these things matter at the end of the day. And, uh, these are good moments. So, God forbid, if there is an emergency, then I need to say I can actually justify it. But right now, these are fun moments and I can have them back as well once I'm stable. Okay.
yeah,
So, there are things that a father has to do, there are things that a mother does differently,
yeah.
right?
Also think that,
So,
like for example, even like before your session, I've had this session with this man Adam, and who was who has a podcasting business too. And he,
right.
some would say he's like rigid, but he was so into his, I would say, term that even if he's in like running his business that's so pressure, he's just like, I just work 3 days a week, and my clients know that, and they know that and they are pissed off. But then at the same time, like I really don't care. I will go 3 days, and if my son has a sports day, I'm going to go attend that because for
Mhm.
me, that's more important. Yes, sometimes people raise eyebrows, but for me, that doesn't matter. And like, even like our previous conversation, the way you spoke, the way you do things, there was just one thing back of my mind. I was just like, you're so amazing at leading people that even every single person would know that, okay, we can rely on him in
I'm
that
honored.
way. Yeah,
I'm honored.
definitely. Rely on because
Mhm.
you have that calm even when you speak. And I don't think a lot of managers actually realize how important that is because people
Mhm.
when they come to work they're already disoriented and they need something like that. So I was just thinking, okay, if he likes strategy work, why doesn't he have his own thing? Because I think you would work so great even with your own thing.
So, I do have quite a few things in mind that I would like to work upon, but I think it's for a person who has a 9 to 5 job, who works now 6 days a week,
Yeah, yeah.
who who needs a steady income, it's very difficult to take the plunge, right? And from what I basically, from my research, from the interactions that I've had with with people who moved away from the corporate life to they're doing something on their own, uh, you need to have the kind of financial muscle to survive for a year at least if things don't pan out,
No,
right?
for
So,
example, yeah, but I
yeah.
am offering in terms of your main, yes, it's in the like ground on the ground working, but you love when it comes to strategy. And if you even do freelance work as a consultant, supply chain consultant, and people just
Mhm.
bring you their, for example, problems per se, and you just break it down and tell them what to do, I think that would even that won't even cause you any financial muscle.
Mhm.
But I don't think that six
So,
days a
yes.
week is like so much.
Mhm. So I think you'll have to cut my previous answer, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, that's actually a work in progress. I mean, there are quite a few things that I'm working on right now, but having a 9 to 6 is 9 to 5, and working 6 days a week, that is quite a bit of a challenge for me. Secondly, yes, that is the eventual plan, inshallah, but I need to build something stable for myself, sorry, something stable enough to, or just get something started before I actually take the plunge full time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to get into consultancy. I want to do a lot of things. And yes, in the next couple of years, that's my target.
Yeah. And I do
And
think that
I
you.
would like to do that. I would like to
Yeah.
do that, but I'm just between a lot of things right now, and I want things to cool down a bit before, excuse me, I can actually start doing stuff, building stuff for myself. So
Yeah.
yes, inshallah
Yeah.
ta'ala, that will happen. That transition will happen in the next couple of
Yeah,
years.
yeah, I really
But
hope it does
it's very
because
much there.
I think even when it comes to, like you mentioned, even people you met on LinkedIn, and when you have had conversation, they were going through like same structure. And just talking with them, you were able to
Mhm.
identify, okay, the problem I was going through over here, they are also going through over there. But you working over here in a different set, that's okay. Like you are working, you're managing, but it would be so much better, like, okay, if you have tasks and everything. But as a consulting, I think it would be much more exciting because it would be different kind of
Mhm.
things, and you have to think about how to do that. Yeah,
So
and
eventually, I would like to be the sort of person who can create jobs. I want to be that
yeah,
person. But inshallah, like I said, that's going to happen in a couple of
yeah,
years. That's the plan.
and for me, that's the same too, because the thing is that I've been through unemployment, and for me, that was one of the most
Mhm.
humiliating, and that was one of the most dangerous position I was in.
I can totally relate
I
to that.
was Yeah, I was at a loss, like a lost cause and that way. But at the same time, like I uploaded a video, I read write about it as well. It's just that when I see it retrospect, I was so much more giving in that way that now
Mhm.
I don't want other people to go through that unemployment, because I know that when I say dangerous, you do reach a point that you have to ask yourself a question that, okay,
Mhm.
when is it going to stop and how am I going to
Yes.
survive? And if you can, like, you want to
Mhm.
stay in the right path, but just staying over there becomes really hard. So that's
Yeah.
one of the ways. Yeah.
So I think this is a question that I was once asked in an interview a couple of months back that it's a bit off tangent, but also connected to what you just said. I was asked, what do you think helped Danish become who he is as compared to what he was 5 years ago? So for me, and this is a question that I've never been asked. So this was just a sort of the moment answer. So my response was that there are two things. That one, I came to I got an opportunity to work with some great people. The second one was my spiritual journey. That has helped me a lot. So once you get on that path, if you're lucky to get on that path, I mean, Allah is good. It's not like I'm there. I don't think I'm there, but yeah, sure. But
Yeah,
yes, luckily, I feel like spirituality getting into a certain thought process that has helped me a lot.
yeah. And
So
I think
li
if
life's not
we
easy. Life's not easy in any way.
not,
Regardless of whether or not you have a job, regardless of whether or not you have a challenging environment or a
yeah,
toxic environment, every aspect of life brings its own challenge, right?
yeah,
But the real deal is navigating through them, and
exactly.
I think
And
spirituality
that's
helps a lot.
yeah, and that's one thing. And also, like, for me, it was all about that when I was going through struggles, and I've had
Mhm.
my share of mental struggles as well. Something in me just was like, okay, I just don't want people to go through that, right? And
Yes.
it just became, okay, I shared it with someone close, and I was like, okay, I just want to start an NGO. But for me, it was like, for animals, but I couldn't say that outright because I know that that close person would judge me just for helping animals. And at that time, I didn't have a job. And what struck me is the reply I got. That was that instead of helping other people, why don't you help yourself first? And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, but isn't it possible that I help people and also I help myself as well? And that's kind of become what I'm doing, right? Even in my page, yes, I am helping others in that way, but I really want to help people. And even the main aim of this podcast was
Mhm.
that because when I was struggling, I couldn't find any relevant stories out there, and it just
Mhm.
put me down so much. That's why I wanted for other people's there would be some journey aspect that maybe they can even remotely relate to, so they're able
Yeah.
to just find that little ray of sunshine for me. Yeah.
So I think, like you just mentioned, this is something that somebody told me once that you there are things you need to do for yourself. You have to be selfish about. Selfish
Yeah.
was the word for them, and he put a lot of emphasis on that. He said, like for example, getting into a fitness routine that basically without the time that you are spending with your family,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it's good for you.
Yeah.
It's not like you're wasting your time on, like it's not you're not wasting time.
Yeah. You're
You're not
building yourself. Yeah.
you're not unplugging yourself from your family, being distant. You're doing something which makes you feel good, and eventually it's going to have a good impact on your family as well,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you're healthy,
Yeah.
you are able to enjoy your family more. You're able to
Yeah.
enjoy the little moments of life.
Yeah, and that's so important because people often say that, I will die for my family. But I say, why don't you first try living for your family? Because
Living, exactly.
living is much more difficult. That because dying is
Yes,
very easy. Living is much more difficult.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes. So, I mean, it's like we have a tendency to uh, find a shortcut. So, like you mentioned, dying is a shortcut, right? It shows, sure, it's a level of commitment that you have to
yeah,
accomplish, but before that, why don't you try to do everything you can,
yeah,
right? It's also a way of giving up.
yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
And also, I think our society also have this perspective that if you're making your own choices and saying
Mhm.
no to a few things and saying yes to a few things, then becomes you are very rigid when it comes to those situations, right? And even me taking like other times, like maybe not being involved with family and a few things, and then
Mhm.
focusing on myself. I come up as a very selfish person or a very stubborn person, I like that. But I know that I need that some quiet space that you mentioned about that, because if I
Mhm.
don't get that, I won't be the best of
Mhm.
myself or in a service when it comes to my family, right? And like the fact
Yeah.
that you mentioned spirituality, I know you don't have time, but I think you would able to so relate to that, because
Mhm.
for me, I just look back at the example of Professor Salam, because he was so grounded in himself and he
Mhm.
knew that his worth doesn't come from people, it comes from Allah directly. So
Yes.
that's why he was a man of service. At home, outside,
Exactly.
he was a man of service in that way. So that's just what my inspiration was, because for me, first, I was a lot like, okay, why do I be good? And what's
Mhm.
the motive and stuff. Like now, I'm not like that. I'm just like, if I'm helping someone, it's like it's not taking any share from my goodness or
Mhm.
anything, even difficult situation. So that's
Mhm.
different, that exclusive.
So I think this also comes from the fact that you also need to remove clutter from your mind as to what you want. I'll
Yeah.
give you an example of myself from a couple of years ago. I was the sort of person who would change both phones every year, right? So this phone I've had for about 3.5 years, right? And it's still doing the job very well for me.
Yeah.
So I don't intend to change that. The other one that I have is I've had for a little over a year, and I changed it only because I had that कीड़ा, I would say in me कि नहीं बस बहुत हो गया, I need to change
I
it.
need to change. Yeah.
So otherwise I wouldn't have. And this is something that my friend also told me once that, I played the clutter from my mind. I don't want to spend a lot of money on these things, on a lot of things for that matter. And that has helped me focus on what I actually need,
Yeah.
right? So surviving on bare minimum, but something good. So
Yeah.
like for my clothes, when if I talk about my clothes, I mean I like to dress up smartly,
Yeah.
but I don't like to spend a lot. I don't go for brands. In fact, I prefer to buy when there's a sale so that I can
Definitely.
buy
Like
more
sale, sign me
and
up.
keep
That's
something in
it
the
first.
cupboard. Keep
Yeah.
something in the cupboard for later, but
Yeah.
buy when there's a discount. So I'm least bothered by these things. I'm least bothered by any brand. But there are things that I like to do for myself, and
Yeah.
these are things that I like to do. So for me, and again, these are things that I've learned while during the past couple of years or as I progressed in life. One needs to find happiness in little moments.
Yeah.
So for me, even having paratha and chai with my wife, with a friend, that's a good moment to enjoy,
Yeah, that's nice. That's amazing
right?
that you even, yeah,
So
mentioning
even
wife. Yeah. Marriage is such an
and
important concept. Yeah.
and somebody once told me that, your focus shouldn't be on just being available for your family. It should be on them having fun with you, you building on them building memories with you.
Yeah.
So even just a couple of minutes a day after work, that's also going to help you because they know that you're available.
Yeah.
So we need to, it's reduce focus on how much rather than and move to how good or the quality of what we're doing.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I
we
think
need to
I have
find,
learned that. Yeah, I've learned that under unemployment, because when I had money, you were like changing phone. I was like, I'm going to buy everything, and I'm not going to see price tag because I've always worried about money all my life. So I'm not going to see that. But I think unemployment and that thing made me more intentional and conscious about these choices. I think that was great. I think right now we are going to conclude this. It was
Yes,
amazing
please.
talking to you.
Likewise.
It was so
Likewise.
good. There's just this one last segment that I do. So
Sure.
the thing is that
Sure.
I have some hypothetical questions written, right? You
Right.
are going to just give me any number from 1 to 20, and then I'll
Okay.
see what question it lands on, and then we both have to
Right.
answer that. I'll just copy paste it that.
Okay.
I don't know what question that could that be. Just
Right.
select
So I think I'll go with 13.
13. Okay. So,
Yeah.
okay, if you knew everything would work out, what would you stop worrying about?
About doing anything. Because if I knew everything would work out, then I would just chill, I would just relax. I wouldn't do anything, right?
Like, what would you stop worrying about? Like stressing about?
Stressing about. So, quite a few things actually. Quite a few. Family, so as a father, it's I want to provide for my family, right?
Hmm.
Give my
Yeah.
kids the best of education, uh, make myself more emotionally available for the people around me,
Hmm.
uh, provide for my mother better, I mean, take care of her better, my
Yeah.
uh, nieces and nephew, my friends. So, extended family, quite a few things that
I
I
think
would
for
like to.
you, even when it comes to that, it's more about the relationships. Like you would spend more time on that. Right now, the worry is more towards that. Okay, I'm not giving the right time to my relationships right now.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Mm,
think for me, if everything would work out, I would stop worrying about um the the end outcome that I have to get.
mm,
Because then at the time I know it would work out. So I would just take a step knowing it would work out without overthinking and without
mm.
consciously just worrying about that if it's going to work out, what if I fail again? What if it's something like that? So that's it.
But that's a very common thing. I mean, sure, I also have similar thoughts, and I think quite a few people, everybody operates in a different way, but uh, I think there are common problems that people have. This
Yeah,
is one of them for me. I'm not a psychologist, not an expert at anything,
definitely,
but
definitely.
yes, a lot of people do that. A lot of people have this challenge, so uh, I wouldn't say that's a big deal.
Yeah, but I think since you said that different people feel differently, for me, main thing is about making my mind more calmer. I have been very anxious, taking calculated risk and all of that. So just having that mindset that okay, it's okay to give in to uncertainty because everything would work out. That kind of calms you down and takes off all the
Mhm.
worrying part because you know at the end of the day you are going to make it.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Totally
Because
relatable, actually.
yeah, yeah. Okay, then that's conclude, and I'm sure you have to run for
Mhm.
meeting or run or just meet up as well. So I'm just going to say bye.
Yeah.
But then again, it was
Okay.
amazing talking to you. And I not
Likewise.
only, yeah, not only I learned so much about supply chain in the most layman terms that only I, something like
I
normal
hope so.
would
I
understand,
hope
but
that's the
like
case.
being a leader, father, and being just a
Mhm.
person, I think I learned a lot. So thank you for so much for that.
My pleasure. Thank
Okay.
you. It was really an insightful conversation that I had.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
I would love to have another session with you
In,
another time.
yes, inshallah, and
That'll be
probably
great.
probably around this spirituality part because I know we
Yeah.
will be able to talk more about it,
Oh, yes.
and yeah, and other topics as well. So I am going to be not only sharing that on YouTube, LinkedIn, but also I'm going to
Mhm.
be writing a piece about you as well because I just think I'm
I
able to
want to,
capture. Yeah, and that
yeah.
would be like on Instagram.
Mhm.
So I think because I have a page, so I'm going to share the link with
Mhm.
you. So,
Sure, sure.
okay,
Thank
perfect.
you for taking
Thank you
out
so
for
much.
this conversation.
Perfect.
You're
That
welcome.
was perfect for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.